So before we learn about VPCs in AWS, let's talk about IP addresses in AWS. So we have two kinds of IP. We have IPv4 and IPv6. IPv4 means Internet Protocol version 4, and the capacity is about 4.3 billion IPv4 addresses. So we know about public IPv4s. There are IPv4s that can be used on the internet. And whenever we create an EC2 instance, it's going to get a new public IPv4, as well as if you stop it and then you start it, is going to get a new public IPv4 address. And this is something that we've witnessed throughout this course. We've also seen private IPv4. So this is an internal IP that can be used within your own network. For example, 192.168.1.1. And this private IPv4 is going to be constant for your EC2 instance lifecycle, even if you stop and then start it again. So the difference is that private IPv4 is constant, but public IPv4 will get released if you stop your instance, and you'll get a new one whenever you start your instance. Which brings us to the concept of elastic IPs. So elastic IPs allows you to create a fixed IPv4 address, and then you can attach it to your EC2 instance. So even if you stop your EC2 instance and then you start it, as long as it has the elastic IP attached to it, it's going to keep the same public IPv4. So that can be desirable, but there's a cost to it. So if you leave it attached to your EC2 instance, you don't pay for it. But if your EC2 instance is stopped or your elastic IPv4 is not attached to anything, then you're going to have an ongoing cost because AWS needs to pay to keep that public IP alive and within its own network. So that's why elastic IP can be beneficial to have a fixed IPv4 that's public, but also can cost you some money if you don't use it or if the EC2 instance is stopped. Finally, we have IPv6. So this is the next evolution of the Internet Protocol. And I will not name how many addresses that is. This is a lot of more addresses, about 3.4 times 10 at the power 38. So quite a lot of addresses. Each IP is going to be public. There's no private range. And they look like this. And you can actually enable your VPC to use IPv6 as well. So that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it. And I will see you in the next lecture.